holistic medications. We have holistic nutritionists, because we do know, I just watched the news the other day, and a lot of these top pharmaceutical companies are going up 200% on the cost of medications. 200%. If you think you have a problem now with affording medications, what do you think is going to be the problem going forward? So if we can start by me doing the basics, which is checking the blood work to see what's wrong with you. Is it a metabolic disorder? Is it the hormones?
Absolutely.
What is going on? Then finding out what foods you don't process, because we know that the nutrition is the key to all of this. Because a lot of these foods have a lot of pesticides in it. That's why you have a lot more people having cancers that don't even have a family history of it. And it's 2 places that you can look. What I'm telling you, you can find it right online. It's called the Dirty Dozen. It's the 12 top foods that are sprayed with pesticides. Do you know what number 1 is?
Is it
spinach?
I knew it was a green.
Yeah,
it's the green.
Spinach.
It's another green in the top 10.
It's spinach. It's kale.
Yep.
It's anything that's grown and we eat the outside of it. Strawberries, potato, things like that we eat the outside. And that's because they are now using a different type of pesticide to keep these insects off of them. But guess what? They're killing us at the same time.
Sure are.
And what's the number 1 thing that we use when we go on a diet? I'm on a diet. I'm going to eat spinach, right? Then you have the Clean 15. Those are the foods that they don't use as much pesticide. So if you're really into looking that up, you can just Google it and you'll get that information. Then we know it's foods that you eat that my husband, he has high blood pressure. He wanted to eat tuna and salmon to get his blood pressure down, right? But his stomach kept getting bigger and bigger, and he could not figure out why he felt so icky all the time. And it wasn't his blood pressure, but it was because he was eating foods his body did not process. So all we do is a finger prick, right? Because we did it on you, and we found out what foods those are. And on yours, we said, okay, you got a lot of foods, and it ran in your family. That's the thing.
The test was the same. And I didn't realize how big of a difference it was until I started growing my own food. It was a big difference. And everything that she said, you know, it's one thing for a trainer to come and do a consultation with you, develop a meal plan, and it's a meal plan full of foods that you can't even process. So I'm really not helping you. I'm hurting you.
And what did you tell me? You said you had a trainer that one person was losing weight, but then some of the other people wasn't losing weight, and you couldn't figure out why.
Well, I've had clients that I realize now that there are different questions that need to be asked. Not just family history, but have you had a hysterectomy? Have you had your hormones checked? Because I've had some clients where it's like, maybe she's lying, maybe she's not being truthful with me about what she's doing outside of the gym, but she's not losing at the rate that I know that she should be losing at. But we do know, I know now that it's a lot of other things that come into play.
Like estrogen. When the estrogen levels are high, you develop a belly fat. I don't care what you do and what planks and what crunches, you're not going to lose it until we bring that estrogen down. Now, yes, you say, well, I need estrogen for the bones. Yes, you do. But you don't need excess levels, because we do know that high levels of estrogen can lead to cancers.
Absolutely.
And so, and then it helps. And just like when men can have excess estrogen, and so can women. People think, oh, well, you need it because you're a woman. Yeah, I need it, but I don't need it at not 3 times that amount, especially at my age.
When I'm not
I'm 42 and I'm not childbearing age. I had a hysterectomy. My estrogen does not need to be 242. And then that means my belly's going to be fat, and I can't lose the belly fat, which then going to lead to what? Diabetes.
Absolutely.
The bigger your belly is, the more your diabetes is up. Right. There's some people, they have a genetic factor, so that's not all people. And not all people with big bellies have diabetes. What we're saying is we're just trying to help you to exclude those. We want to make it as possible that we can try to not lead to a lot of chronic medical conditions.
And I think that when you make the decision that I want to lose weight, it has to be from a holistic approach. You have to look at what was going on in my life when I gained this weight, what changed, because what I found as a trainer is that a lot of women come to me, weight is the least of their issues. It's just a byproduct of the bigger things that were going on. So there was a point where I had to have cards on hand of mental health professionals to refer them to, because a lot of times there was a trauma that triggered the weight gain. So I can train you all day long. We can make great gains, but if you haven't tackled the major issue, I'm not gonna. It was almost for nothing. But then I realized that there's a medical component too. So when you make that decision to get a personal trainer, I think you need to start off with your doctor. You need to have blood work done. You need to have your hormone levels checked. So then I have a better picture of what I'm dealing with.
And bring it to you.
And bring it to me. And then I have people that I can consult with to make sure that I'm giving you exactly what you need.
That's right.
I don't, because it's not just about training. It's not just about, we have families. And as you said earlier, the women, we're the cornerstones of our home.
We surely are.
And we set the standard. And when we're not giving ourselves what we need, it's a lot of people around us that suffer. So my new approach to training is more from a holistic standpoint. We have to make sure that we're okay. And I can use myself as an example. I don't mind doing that. I was a personal trainer, and I had a surgical procedure that immediately following that procedure, I had a high blood pressure.
Yes.
And I don't mean like 160 over, it was 200 over 100. So they recommended I had this procedure, but they weren't truthful with me about what would happen afterwards.
Correct.
So I'm thinking, I'm a personal trainer. I'll just change my diet. I'll go back to the gym. I'll get back to what I was before. Wasn't happening. I was put on 3 different medications. In 2 months, I gained 20 pounds. And it didn't matter what I did in the gym, that weight wasn't going to go anywhere. And I struggled with probably 3 or 4 different doctors. And it wasn't until I got here that she said, let's do some blood work. And then depression kicked in.
Yes.
Because now I'm overweight. What I did for a living at one point in time wasn't working. So I
sent you into a tailspin.
I was. It was a downward spiral. It's exactly what it was. And she did the blood work, and I told her I think I'm depressed. I started seeing a counselor. She suggested an antidepressant, and she said, no, let's wait.
Nope.
Let's wait, because we don't know what you're going to respond to and how you're going to respond. And I could give you that medication. It could send you on a complete downward spiral. It'll sit you down.
Well, just send me over the edge. I would be devastated.
She said, so let's just wait. Let's just wait. Let's just maintain. Let's get the blood work. Blood work came back. Estrogen levels. I'm estrogen dominant.
Yes.
Extremely high.
Which estrogen dominance will make you what?
It has all the same symptoms as depression.
Yeah.
She checked my thyroid. We know that the same symptoms of a
hypothyroidism. Same thing.
Presents itself as bipolar or
depression,
all of it.
Yeah.
So she ruled out those things, and then estrogen is what my issue is. So we're working on getting that down. My high blood pressure is now being controlled by mostly natural things.
Yep.
We're doing garlic, cinnamon. I take CoQ10. I'm going to add ginger root, but I take 1 water pill, and it is still not where we want it to be. It's not,
right, but it's down in 140s.
140s
over 90s, which is way better
than where I was.
Than 200s over 100.
And when I came in the first time, it was 160 over something. So, and we're using natural things like CBD oil. So I don't have to be medicated. But the weird thing is, she talked about these pharmaceutical companies. Is it a blocker that you're trying to prescribe me? My insurance won't approve it. So if my estrogen levels are high, I'm more susceptible to getting what? Cancer. But they don't want to pay to stop that.
But they'll pay for mental health medicine, which you won't need if we get your estrogen down.
And if I have to fight for cancer treatment, different things to get that done.
They'll pay for that.
But it's much easier to do this and prevent it. So we have to understand that our health is our responsibility. And we have to go back to the old ways of treating things and get into the root of what's wrong, because there's big business in the pharmaceutical companies. It's big business in us staying sick. So, and this is a doctor. And typically the doctors are in cohorts with the pharmaceutical companies. This happens to be one that's not. So she won't be one that's popular amongst the pharmaceutical companies. But we have to understand that this is life or death for us. And we're seeing people with very rare forms of cancer. And I've always said that how are our grandparents living to be 80 or 90, and people my generation are dying of massive heart attacks in their 40s?
When you said rare forms of cancer, I had 3 different females. Okay, they were all different races. They all had tongue cancer. I was like, what? Tongue cancer? But they did not smoke. They did not chew tobacco. They did not vape.
None of that.
None of that. And I was like, well, how do they have cancer? But guess what it was? It was the foods they was eating.
It had some of foods. Yeah.
It could be the location you at. You heard of whole towns getting sick from a factory that's being close to there and them dumping into their water supply.
And that's Rubber Town.
Yeah.
That's like
and they're dumping into the water supply. And then you're seeing a whole generation of families that live in that area that get sick. But it was 3 different females. And these were young women.
Mm-hmm.
And they was different demographics, live in different areas, but they all had tongue cancer. That was what really woke me up to say, okay, something. And then I really started doing my research. But everybody laughs because I love reality TV. But reality TV introduced me to infusion therapy. Once it said the word, when the girl said that about telling her husband, who was a concierge doctor and married to medicine, and she said, we like to drink and we want to get hydrated before we pick up the kids. I understood what she was saying, but I was like, it got to be something different than that. Then when I started looking into what doing the Myers cocktail and how he did this years ago, how they knew back in the 50s about vitamin C, high doses of vitamin C, and how they protect the mitochondrial wall to prevent cancers or from the cancers from spreading. That really led me into another rabbit hole of looking at so many different things that we had got away from that God put on this earth for us.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, dang, all it is that. And then you said, well, I grow my own food. I'm like, well, how hard is it to go into these neighborhoods where they got liquor stores on every corner, but they don't have no garden on every corner?
So that's my next project. Within the neighborhood that I'm in, I have to go. I live in the West End, in the Victory Park area, which is right next to California Park, but it's not far from Rubber Town. And years ago, I was part of the Rubber Town documentary, and the cancer rate on my mom's street alone was very, very high.
Wow.
My dad died of cancer. The neighbor died of cancer. His neighbor died of cancer. That's 3 houses back to back on one street. So you can't tell me that that's not a coincidence.
Right.
It's environmental. But when I started growing my own food, I realized that this food tastes different.
Yes.
It tastes different. So I started with my own garden. One year it got bigger the next year. And then I have to go to the Highlands to get what I need.
Wow. You can't go to your neighborhood grocery store.
And my neighborhood grocery store is 2 minutes away.
Wow.
2 minutes away. And it's been times I go in there and I'm like, one time in particular, there were some avocados. If you touched them, they crunched.
Wow.
There were red potatoes that had eyes all over them. I live in a food desert. So I went and got the manager of the produce department. I said, why would you put this out? He said, well, I have other ones in the back. I said, that's not what I'm asking you. I said, my question is, why are you okay putting this out? Mm-hmm. That's because in that neighborhood, they don't care.
Right.
They wouldn't. I said, if I went to the Kroger's in the Highland, I said, I would never see this. And he's like, well, I can go in. I said, I don't want you to go in the back and give me anything. I said, you're missing my point.
Right.
Why are you comfortable putting this out?
Right.
So my next project is, and I'll be online and talking and trying to get people to support it, is I have a vacant lot right across the street from me.
Okay.
And I talked to the lady that owns it, and I told her, she finished my sentence when I called her. I was like, are you all going to develop there anytime soon? She said, no, not right now, but we've been trying to get some people to do something with it. I said, well, I have a garden, but I would like to use that land across the street. She said, for a community garden.
Wow.
She said, we've been trying to get someone to do that for years. She said, and it's definitely possible. She said, I need you to come in and talk to me. So that's my next project that I'm really, really excited about. And
and Jarvis Family Medical Services will be right behind you, because my people know that, and you know how I am about you getting access to the right foods and vegetables and herbs and spices to change your life. So whatever you need us to do, we're there.
Thank you.
Because that's major. And then the kids don't understand.
And I have all the kids from the neighborhood in my, and I may be in the bathroom window and I see kids from the neighborhood coming and looking. I'll see cars slowing down. But because we live near Rubber Town, it's not a traditional garden. Okay. So I do a straw bale garden. I don't trust the soil because of the chemicals, what's going to be in the rain, what could be resting in the soil. So I do straw bale gardens.
What is that?
It's bales of straw. You put compost or soil on top and you plant within the bales.
Oh, okay.
So I do that, and I do raised bales as well, or raised beds. So I'm kind of new to it. I get better every year, but I'm trusting that this year it's going to go the way I want it to go.
I love that. So if you all know of anybody that is maybe can help Ebony, help us to develop this community garden, how would they get in touch with you so that, because everybody talks to everybody.
Yeah.
And it takes a village to do something.
And
so we know people from anywhere, walks of town. I mean, they can be out of the state and can help us here in Louisville, Kentucky. What number or how can they reach you?
They can call me directly at 502-418-6153. That's my direct line. You can email me at eatolive. That's EATTOLIVE 0